Till in 1959, police were called to a segregated library in South Carolina when a 9-year-old black boy refused to leave. He later got a Ph.D. in physics from MIT, and died in 1986, one of the astronauts aboard the Space Shuttle Challenger. The library that refused to lend him books is now named after him. Till President Diouf began an anti-AIDS program in Senegal, before the virus was able to take off. He used media and schools to promote safe sex messages and required prostitutes to be registered. While AIDS was decimating much of Africa, the infection rate for Senegal stayed below 2%. Till the reason Roger Moore stopped being James Bond was because of how much older he was than his female co-stars. He was in his 50s, and they were in their 20s. In his own words, "Well, the leading ladies were young enough to be my granddaughter and it becomes disgusting." Till about shrinkflation, the practice of stealthily reducing a product's size while maintaining its price so that consumers may unknowingly pay the same for less. According to the UK's Office of National Statistics, 2,529 supermarket products decreased in size or weight between 2012 and 2017. Till in 1964, when Bob Dylan first met the Beatles, he had misheard the lyrics to "I Want to Hold Your Hand" as "I Get High" instead of "I Can't Hide," and showed up to meet them ready to smoke. He gave a joint to Ringo, who didn't realize he was supposed to pass it and smoked the whole thing himself. Till that when the famous pirate Henry Morgan died, an amnesty was declared so pirates and privateers could come and pay their respects without fear of arrest. He was also given a state funeral in Port Royal, and buried with a 22-gun salute. Till that in 1999, Philip Morris attempted to convince the government of the Czech Republic that smoking was highly beneficial to the country, as more people would die earlier as a result, thus letting the government save millions on pensions, hospitals, and housing for elderly citizens. Till Peter Dinklage's brother is an accomplished violinist, who performed on the original Broadway recording of Hamilton. Peter describes him as the real performer of the family. Till that in 1948 a man wore 30-pound, three-toed lead shoes and stomped around a Florida beach during the night, that footprints lead people to believe that a 15-foot-tall penguin was roaming the land. He kept up the prank for 10 years, visiting other beaches. The hoax wasn't revealed until 40 years later. Till that in Spider-Man, Into the Spider-Verse, certain scenes such as the forest swinging scene, Miles was animated at 12 frames a second while Peter was animated at 24 frames a second, making Miles look less smooth. This was done to show Miles' inexperience at being Spider-Man compared to Peter. Till that Colonel Sanders was highly critical of KFC, calling it a damn fried doughball stuck on some chicken and goddamn slop, while denouncing the gravy as horrible. At times he'd surprise enter a KFC and throw the food on the floor if in disgust. Till that actor Kirk Douglas once tried to commit suicide after his stroke, by shooting himself through the mouth. However, the gun hit a tooth, and it hurt so much that he stopped completely. He was then so amused that toothache had stopped him from killing himself, that he decided to live. Till about Ralph Lazo, the only known non-spouse, non-Japanese American who voluntarily relocated to an internment camp. When Lazo learned that his Japanese American friends and neighbors were being forcibly removed, he was so outraged that he joined friends on a train that took hundreds to Manzanar. Till that the U.S. has refused to continue funding the nuclear claims tribunal set up to compensate islanders that suffered radiation-related diseases from testing. So far it's paid less than $4 million of a $2.2 billion damage judgment. More than half of the affected islanders have died since. Till in 2014, a 3-year-old girl, Karina Chikatova, survived 11 days in the Siberian wilderness with only her dog for company. She ate wild berries and drank from a river, curling up next to her dog for warmth. She was saved when her dog went back to her village and guided rescuers to her. Till 2 students in a school performance of Sweeney Todd had their throats cut because the school supplied an actual straight razor for the throat-slitting scene. Till LSD was discovered when a chemist was synthesizing some plant components and accidentally consumed some. Afterward, he reported feeling restless, dizzy, and slightly drunk, and when he closed his eyes he could see vivid images, pictures, and colors in his mind. Till that women are better at discerning shades of colors, while men are better at tracking fast-moving objects and discerning detail from a distance. These are evolutionary details linked to a hunter-gatherer past. Till the 1100-page epic novel about the history of Japan, Shogun, by James Clavell was inspired by a single sentence in his daughter's school textbook that read, "In 1600 an Englishman went to Japan and became a samurai." Till in 1979 when the Skylab re-entry approached the San Francisco exam offered $10,000 to the first person to deliver a piece to them within 72 hours knowing it wasn't heading toward the USA. A 17-year-old Aussie collected a piece, jumped on a plane with no passport or luggage and collected his prize. Till giraffes were thought to be nearly completely silent because their long necks make vocal vibration difficult. However, researchers spent 8 years recording almost 1,000 hours of audio at 3 zoos and discovered that giraffes produce a deep, spooky humming noise, almost like tantric chanting. Till the United States government was in full support of the movie Independence Day 1996, offering real military uniforms and even jets until the filmmakers refused to remove Area 51 from the movie. The government withdrew all support. Till Tycho Brahe, the famed Danish astronomer noted for the accuracy of his observations, had a pet elk who died after consuming too much beer and falling down the stairs. Brahe also lost part of his nose after a sword duel with his third cousin over which of them was the superior mathematician. Till that in 4 states, including California, you can take the bar exam and practice law without ever going to law school. It's called reading law. Till in the late 17th century, the pirate Henry Avery became the richest pirate in the world after raiding a treasure-laden ship belonging to the Grand Ruler of India. He stole £600,000 in precious metals and jewels, equivalent to £89.6 million today. The world's first worldwide manhunt was called on him. Till that Frederick Douglass's master didn't want his slaves being taught to read, believing that it would foster a desire for freedom. Douglass learned to read anyway, escaped, and became the foremost abolitionist in the country. Till that during World War II, the British launched nearly 100,000 weather balloons trailing long metal wires toward occupied Europe, causing power outages when they shorted out power lines and causing at least one German power station to burn down. Till about Draco, an Athenian lawyer who gave the city its first written code. The word draconian originated from his name as his laws were so brutal. According to legend, he died due to his popularity. After giving a speech at a theater, he was smothered when the audience threw their cloaks at him. Till that a Calvin and Hobbes comic from 1992 referred to the start of the universe as the horrendous space kablooey, saying that the Big Bang was too boring. The term horrendous space kablooey, or HSK, has since become popular among scientists, and has been used in books and university courses. Till that many casinos try to avoid making you ever have to turn in a right angle by design, as such a hard turn forces people to call upon the decision-making parts of their brain, something that casinos naturally want to avoid. Till Mel Brooks put on a prosthetic 11th finger while adding his handprint to the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Till the tradition of firing guns as a salute was originally a sign of peaceful intentions. Since guns and cannons needed to be reloaded after each shot, firing your gun in the air essentially rendered you unarmed. Till that in 1992, a North Dakotan teen, John Thompson, was home alone when he had both of his arms chopped off by a tractor in a freak farming accident. However, he still managed to get up, go inside, and dial for help via holding a pencil in his mouth. He survived. Till that, due to him being unable to celebrate his bar mitzvah at the age of 13 due to World War I, Yisrael Crystal celebrated his bar mitzvah on his 113th birthday instead. Crystal was already the world's oldest living man and the world's oldest living Holocaust survivor during this time. Till in 1953, a paper boy acquired a hollowed-out nickel containing a ciphered message while collecting for his deliveries. He told the daughter of an NYPD officer and the news got to the FBI, eventually leading to the arrest and conviction of KGB agent William Fisher 4 years later. Till since 1900 a London park has a memorial to those that have died in heroic acts of self-sacrifice and who might otherwise be forgotten. Each heroic act is listed such as, drowned in attempting to save a poor girl who had thrown herself into the canal. Till that the people on House Hunters already bought a house before the show and the rest is staged. Till that originally, up until 1804, electors could cast 2 votes for 2 different U.S. candidates for president, and the first runner-up presidential candidate became vice president to guard against electoral gamesmanship. Till, a man in Vermont, upset with local officials for denying a building permit for his proposed business, paid $4,000 to build a giant illuminated middle finger statue on his property. "If you don't want to look at the building, look at this," he said to the Development Review Board. Till Viking girls got hitched as young as 12 and had to mind the household while their husbands sailed off on adventures. Still, they had more freedom than other women of their era. Viking women could inherit property, request a divorce and reclaim their dowries if their marriages ended. Today I learned Elvis Presley asked President Nixon for a DIA badge because he believed, with the federal narcotics badge, he could legally enter any country both wearing guns and carrying any drugs he wished. Today I learned about the great Joe Rolino, a Coney Island strongman who advocated for healthy living ahead of his time. Bent a quarter on his 103rd birthday, using his teeth. He died at age 104 when he was hit by a minivan during one of his daily walks in Brooklyn. That there is a group of sea wolves on Vancouver Island that can swim for miles and 90% of their diet is seafood. They primarily eat salmon but also forage on barnacles, lambs, herring eggs, seals, and river otters. That Blackbeard was shot 5 times and stabbed 20 times in the ambush that killed him, and it took someone slitting his throat from behind to finally end him. The process of dry cleaning was invented in 1821 by an African American business owner named Thomas Jennings. He was one of the first African Americans to be granted a patent. He had to use the proceeds from his invention to buy his wife and children out of slavery. That removing lead from gasoline is thought to be one of the big factors that lead to the drop in the violent crime rate in America in the 1990s. College textbook prices increased 90% from 1998 to 2016 while recreational book prices fell by more than 35% in the same time period. That a dog in Mexico named Frida saved the lives of 12 people who were trapped under rubble due to earthquakes. She identified a total of 52 bodies during her career and is considered a national heroine in Mexico. She is now officially retired. Honeybees can be trained to locate landmines due to their acute sense of smell. Croatian scientists mixed a sugar solution with a small amount of TNT, and after about 5 minutes of hunting for this doped sugar solution, the honeybees are trained to flock to the smell of TNT. That in 1966, during his second stint in jail, Charles Manson refused release and requested to stay in prison. He'd spent half of his 32 years behind bars, and saw it as his home. Authorities refused and released him. He quickly formed the family.